Ladies and gentlemen, every crisis in life carries within it two things: danger and opportunity. The danger is obvious, but the opportunity is hidden in plain sight, waiting for those who have the courage to see beyond fear. The truth is, a crisis is never meant to break you. It is meant to reveal you. Crisis holds both danger and opportunity because it is the very nature of life's challenges to carry within them two sides of the same coin. On one side, there is the threat, the uncertainty, the fear of loss, and the potential for failure. On the other side, there is hidden potential, the seed of innovation, the spark of creativity, and the possibility for transformation that could never emerge without the pressure of the crisis itself. When people encounter crisis, most only see the danger. They see what is collapsing, what is slipping away, and what could go wrong. Fear magnifies the sense of danger to such a degree that it blinds them to the opportunities waiting to be discovered. Yet history, experience, and even nature itself prove that crisis is the birthplace of renewal, if only we have the courage to look deeper. Think about the times in your life when you grew the most, learned the most, or discovered a strength you never knew you had. More often than not, it was during moments of difficulty. It was when you had to make decisions under pressure, when you were forced to adapt, and when you had no choice but to think differently. A crisis strips away comfort, and comfort is often the greatest enemy of growth. In comfort, there is no need to innovate, no urgency to stretch, and no motivation to change. But when comfort is interrupted by crisis, suddenly the mind begins to explore new possibilities, new paths, and new solutions. What appeared at first to be the end can, with the right perspective, become the doorway to a new beginning. The danger of crisis is real. It can break businesses, families, dreams, and individuals who are unprepared or unwilling to adjust. It can leave behind scars and losses that are deeply felt. But the opportunity of crisis is just as real, perhaps even greater, because every disruption shakes the old systems and habits that keep us stagnant. It forces reinvention, challenges assumptions, and demands resilience. This is why some people emerge from the same crisis devastated while others emerge stronger, wiser, and more effective. The difference lies not in the crisis itself, but in the vision with which it is approached. One person sees only the obstacle, while another sees the hidden lesson, the hidden strength, and the hidden opportunity. Throughout history, some of the greatest innovations and transformations were born in times of crisis. Economic collapses gave rise to new industries. Personal failures gave birth to new directions in life. Nations rebuilt themselves stronger after wars and disasters. Individuals discovered talents and resilience in themselves only after their world was shaken. What was once perceived as danger alone became the very platform for progress. This pattern teaches us that danger and opportunity are inseparable companions. To see only danger is to miss the chance for growth. To see only opportunity without respecting the danger is to walk blindly. But to recognize both is to harness the full power of crisis. When you face a crisis, your first reaction may be fear, but your second must be reflection. Fear is natural, but reflection allows you to ask, what can I learn here? What can I do differently? What is this crisis pushing me to become? Those who train their minds to look beyond the immediate danger discover that within every problem lies the seed of a solution, and within every disruption lies the seed of transformation. In truth, a crisis is a test. It tests your vision, your adaptability, your patience. and your inner strength. It asks you to decide whether you will be crushed by the danger or lifted by the opportunity. It is never one without the other. The challenge is to discipline yourself to look past the storm clouds and find the rain that waters new growth. The opportunity may not be obvious at first, but it is there, waiting for those with eyes to see and the courage to act. Strength is revealed in tough times because it is only when life applies pressure that the true capacity of a person comes to light. In moments of ease and comfort, it is easy to believe we are strong, disciplined, or resilient, but such beliefs are untested assumptions. Real strength is not proven when everything flows smoothly. It is proven when obstacles stand in the way, when plans collapse, when uncertainty clouds the future, and when endurance is demanded beyond what seems possible. Just as gold is purified in fire and muscles are built through resistance, the challenges of life provide the environment where hidden strength emerges. Every person carries within them potential they may not even be aware of. Most of the time, that potential lies dormant, untouched, because there is no demand for it. People rarely explore the depth of their own courage, patience, or determination when everything is predictable and comfortable. But when life suddenly shifts and difficulties arise, when hardship demands more than what was previously given, that hidden strength rises to meet the challenge. Many who thought they were weak in certain areas discovered a surprising resilience when faced with crisis. Others who doubted their ability to endure hardship found that, in the moment of testing, they had far more perseverance than they ever imagined. Strength that remains hidden in comfort is revealed in adversity. Tough times serve as mirrors, reflecting back to us who we truly are. Some may appear confident when life is smooth, but when storms come, the reality of their character is exposed. Others may appear ordinary or overlooked in good times, but in seasons of trial, their inner strength shines like a beacon. It is in tough times that leaders are distinguished from followers, that those who collapse are separated from those who rise, and that individuals gain clarity about their own resilience. What was once assumed becomes proven. The weight of challenges is not meant to destroy, but to reveal capacity. Consider how a bridge is tested. It is not proven by being admired on a calm day, but by enduring the weight and pressure placed upon it. In the same way, a person's inner strength is tested by the weight of tough times. Struggles with finances, loss, rejection, health issues, or uncertainty may feel crushing, but they are also opportunities for the discovery of strength. Many people look back at the hardest seasons of their lives and admit that, though painful, those were the times when they found out what they were truly capable of. In addition, strength is not only about surviving, it is also about how you carry yourself in difficulty. It is about maintaining faith when everything around you says give up, holding on to integrity when compromise seems easier, and showing kindness even when bitterness would be justified. These qualities cannot be faked in tough times. They are either real or they collapse under pressure. Thus, adversity strips away pretenses and reveals the authenticity of strength. Furthermore, tough times develop strength for the future. Just as lifting weights tears the muscle so it can rebuild stronger, challenges stretch the soul so it can expand in capacity. Once someone has endured hardship and come through it, they are no longer the same. They stand taller, they think deeper, they carry wisdom, and they approach future challenges with greater confidence. Their strength is not imagined but experienced, not claimed but demonstrated. It is important to understand that tough times are temporary, but the strength revealed and developed through them remains. That strength becomes part of a person's identity, equipping them for greater responsibilities, greater challenges, and greater opportunities ahead. Without the struggle, that strength might never have been known, but because of it, the person now stands with evidence of resilience, endurance, and courage that cannot be denied. Your response defines the outcome, because in every situation, especially in moments of crisis or challenge, the event itself is less powerful than the way you choose to deal with it. Life will always bring circumstances beyond your control. There will be disappointments, failures, betrayals, setbacks, and sudden changes you did not anticipate. While you cannot decide what happens to you, you can always decide how you respond. That decision alone shapes the path ahead more than the crisis itself. Two people can go through the same hardship, yet one emerges broken, while the other emerges stronger. The difference is not the difficulty, but the response. When a problem appears, the natural human tendency is to react with fear, anger, or despair. Those emotions, if left unchecked, can cloud judgment and lead to poor decisions that worsen the situation. A fearful response can cause hesitation and missed opportunities. An angry response can damage relationships or close doors that could have been helpful. A hopeless response can lead to giving up too soon, never realizing how close a breakthrough might have been. On the other hand, a calm, thoughtful, and determined response can turn the same situation into a stepping stone for growth. Perspective is the lens through which outcomes are shaped, and perspective is entirely a matter of choice. Consider someone who loses their job unexpectedly. One person might respond with panic, self-pity, and blame, sinking deeper into despair and closing themselves off from new possibilities. Another person, facing the same loss, might respond with courage and curiosity, asking what new opportunities are hidden in this disruption, what skills they could learn, and what future they could build. The first remains stuck, while the second begins to rise. The event was the same, but the outcome was determined by response. This principle applies to every level of life, from personal struggles to global challenges. Nations that respond to crisis with division and fear often collapse, while those that respond with unity, creativity, and resilience rebuild stronger. Families that face tragedy with bitterness often fracture, while those that respond with love and support grow closer. Individuals who respond to pain by shutting down often live limited lives, while those who respond with openness and hope often inspire others. The common thread is that the power lies not in the event, but in the chosen response. Your response also determines the lessons you carry forward. Every difficulty has something to teach, but if your response is consumed with negativity, you miss the lesson. A wise response asks, what can I learn here? How can I grow? And how can I use this challenge to prepare for the future? This approach transforms even the worst of circumstances into a training ground for wisdom. People who cultivate this mindset often look back on their struggles not with regret, but with gratitude, because their response allowed them to gain strength, clarity, and resilience they never would have known otherwise. It is also true that your response influences others around you. In moments of uncertainty, people look to each other for cues on how to behave. A response of calm and courage can inspire and steady those who are anxious. A response of despair can spread fear like wildfire. Leaders, parents, Teachers and anyone in a position of influence must recognize that their response carries weight beyond themselves. By responding with strength, they shape not only their own outcome, but the outcomes of those who follow their example. Ultimately, every situation presents a choice. You cannot control the waves, but you can decide whether you will drown in them or learn to surf. You cannot control the storm, but you can decide whether to hide in fear or to plant seeds that will grow when the rain passes. Your response is the greatest power you possess, and it is the factor that defines the outcome more than anything else. Great people grow through crisis because crisis has a unique way of unlocking potential that often lies dormant in times of ease. When everything is comfortable, predictable, and familiar, there is little need for transformation. People settle into routines, rely on what they already know, and rarely push themselves beyond their limits. But when life is disrupted by hardship, loss, or unexpected change, a new demand is placed on the human spirit. That demand forces growth, calling forth resilience, creativity, and wisdom that would otherwise remain hidden. Greatness is not produced in comfort. It is forged in fire. History offers countless examples of men and women who faced crisis and emerged stronger, more capable, and more influential. Leaders who guided their nations through wars, innovators who created new solutions during economic collapses, and individuals who turned personal tragedy into platforms of service, all share this truth. It was the crisis that elevated their character and expanded their vision. Without the hardship, they might have remained ordinary, but the challenge gave them a reason to rise. Crisis exposes the inadequacy of old methods and demands new ways of thinking, and it is in that stretching that greatness is born. Growth through crisis happens because adversity breaks comfort zones. It pushes people into uncharted territory where they must adapt or be left behind. In that adaptation, new skills are learned, new strengths are developed, and new perspectives are gained. For example, someone who loses a business may discover a creative idea that launches a bigger one. Someone who endures rejection may develop resilience and confidence that makes them unstoppable in the future. Someone who faces failure may learn lessons that prepare them for greater success down the road. The crisis itself is not pleasant, but it becomes the soil in which greatness grows. Crisis also teaches humility and wisdom. When life is easy, it is easy to believe you are in control, that your plans are secure, and that nothing can shake you. But when a storm comes, it reminds you of your limitations and forces you to look deeper. This humility opens the door to learning, growth, and dependence on higher principles. Great people often reflect on their toughest times as the very seasons that gave them clarity of purpose and sharpened their vision. In the darkness of difficulty, they discovered the light of inner strength and direction. Another reason great people grow through crisis is that it separates them from the crowd. Everyone faces hardship, but not everyone responds the same way. Many retreat, complain, or give up. Few choose to rise, learn, and press forward. Those who take the higher road stand out, not because their crisis was unique, but because their response was uncommon. Their growth becomes a testimony that inspires others. By refusing to be defined by their crisis, and instead allowing it to refine them, they step into a level of greatness that influences lives beyond their own. Crisis also develops endurance. Greatness is not measured by short bursts of success, but by the ability to remain steadfast in the face of prolonged challenges. Each trial builds perseverance, and each act of perseverance builds character. With each storm endured, a person grows stronger and more capable of handling the next. Over time, this process transforms them into someone who can carry greater responsibilities, lead others with empathy, and make wise decisions under pressure. For great people, crisis is not an ending but a beginning. It is the catalyst that awakens their hidden abilities, reshapes their thinking, and redefines their future. Though the pain is real and the struggle is difficult, they understand that the growth it produces is invaluable. They emerge from the fire not weakened but stronger, not bitter but wiser, not broken but rebuilt with greater capacity to lead, inspire, and achieve. Ask the right questions is a principle that emphasizes the power of perspective and the way it shapes the direction of life. In every situation, the quality of the questions you ask determines the quality of the answers you find. When faced with challenges, many people default to asking limiting questions such as, "Why me?" or "Why is this happening to me?" These questions may express frustration, but they do not move you forward. They trap you in a cycle of self-pity and blame, keeping your mind focused on problems instead of solutions. On the other hand, asking the right questions opens the door to growth, clarity, and opportunity. Questions like, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I turn this setback into a stepping stone?" shift your perspective and position you to find hidden possibilities in the middle of difficulty. The right questions have a way of reprogramming the mind to look for answers that may not be obvious at first glance. A crisis or hardship can cloud your vision, making it difficult to see beyond the pain of the moment. But when you discipline yourself to ask questions that search for meaning, strength, and solutions, you force your mind to rise above fear and focus on progress. Instead of asking questions that dwell on the past, the right questions push you toward the future. They turn your attention away from what you cannot control and direct it toward what you can change. In that process, you discover new paths forward. Throughout history, many breakthroughs came from people who asked different questions than everyone else. Where others saw only problems, they asked questions that revealed opportunities. Inventors asked, "What if there is a better way?" Leaders asked, "How can this crisis make us stronger as a people?" Visionaries asked, "What is possible beyond what we see now?" The willingness to ask questions that challenge assumptions and expand perspective often marks the difference between those who remain stuck and those who move forward. Asking the right questions also builds resilience. Life will always bring moments of disappointment, but questions shape the way you interpret those moments. A failure can be seen as the end, or it can be seen as a teacher. The question you ask determines which it becomes. If you ask, "What went wrong, and how can I improve?" you give yourself a chance to turn failure into growth. If you ask only, "Why did this happen to me?" you reinforce a victim mentality that drains your strength. In this way, questions either lock doors or unlock them. The right questions also cultivate wisdom because they encourage reflection. They require you to pause, think deeply, and search for meaning. Wisdom is rarely born in haste, it is born in reflection. By asking, "What is this experience teaching me?" or "How can I use this to help others?" you begin to extract value from your experiences. Even painful events gain purpose when filtered through the lens of meaningful questions. Over time, this habit trains you to approach life with curiosity rather than fear, with openness rather than resistance. In addition, asking the right questions influences your relationships and leadership. People are drawn to those who ask thoughtful, forward-looking questions because such questions inspire hope and solutions. A leader who asks, "How can we work together to overcome this?" unites people, while one who asks, "Who is to blame for this?" divides them. A parent who asks, "What is the best way to support and guide my child in this moment?" creates an environment of growth, while one who asks, "Why is this child so difficult?" creates distance. In every sphere of life, the questions you ask shape the environment you create. The truth is that life does not always give answers freely. It responds to the questions you dare to ask. Small questions lead to small answers, but big questions expand the horizon of what is possible. Asking the right questions is not about ignoring reality, but about interpreting reality in a way that leads to solutions, growth, and transformation. Crisis is a training ground for greatness because it provides the very conditions necessary to shape character, build resilience, and refine potential. No one becomes great by avoiding difficulty. Greatness is born in the fire of adversity, where comfort is stripped away and true strength is demanded. A training ground is a place of preparation where skills are tested, weaknesses are exposed, and endurance is built. In the same way, crisis functions as life's arena of training, creating the environment where ordinary individuals discover extraordinary capacities within themselves. What seems like a setback on the surface is often the very process that equips someone to handle greater responsibilities and achieve higher levels of influence. When crisis arrives, it disrupts normal patterns and routines. This disruption forces people to think differently, adapt quickly, and act with courage. Just as an athlete cannot grow stronger without resistance, a person cannot grow into greatness without the resistance that crisis brings. Every difficulty introduces new lessons that comfort never could. It teaches patience when answers are delayed, discipline when distractions abound, and creativity when old solutions fail. These lessons form the foundation of greatness because they develop not just skill, but depth of character. Crisis is also a revealer of potential. Many people do not know how much strength, endurance, or leadership they possess until life requires it of them. The pressure of hardship draws out hidden abilities that remain dormant in times of ease. A person who never faced a financial crisis may not realize they have the ability to innovate and create new streams of income. Someone who never walked through personal loss may not discover the compassion and empathy that later enables them to comfort others. In this sense, crisis is not only a training ground, but also a mirror reflecting strengths that individuals never realized they had until they were tested. Moreover, crisis develops perseverance. Endurance is a quality that cannot be taught in theory. It must be built through experience. Each time someone pushes through hardship, they increase their capacity to withstand greater challenges in the future. Greatness requires the ability to persist when others quit, to keep moving forward when circumstances say stop. Crisis is the environment where this endurance is forged because it demands persistence when quitting seems easier. Over time, these experiences build a reservoir of inner strength that becomes essential for anyone who seeks to lead, inspire, or achieve at higher levels. Crisis also refines vision. When everything falls apart, it forces people to evaluate what truly matters. In the noise of comfort and success, it is easy to become distracted by things of little value. But in times of crisis, priorities become clear. People begin to see with sharper focus, setting aside what is trivial and pursuing what is essential. This clarity of vision is one of the hallmarks of greatness, because those who achieve lasting impact are those who can distinguish the important from the unimportant. Crisis, by stripping away illusions, provides that clarity in a way nothing else can. Finally, crisis connects greatness with purpose. Many individuals who have left a legacy of impact did not begin with grand opportunities, but with deep struggles. They turned their personal pain into platforms of service and their private battles into public testimonies. What trained them was not a life of ease, but a journey through hardship. The training ground of crisis prepared them to stand strong, to lead with wisdom, and to inspire with authenticity. In the end, crisis does not disqualify greatness, it qualifies it, ensuring that when the moment of influence arrives, the individual is not fragile but fortified, not untested but proven, ready to step into their higher calling.